poli-sci professor, Dr. Gregg Murray from Augusta University. Appreciate you coming in. You're going to help us walk us through today's hearings and what they mean in the grand scheme of things. So good afternoon. I appreciate you coming in.
Thank you for having me.
It's certainly a very deep topic, right? There's a lot going on right now. So let's just first start with what are the impeachment inquiry proceedings? What does that really mean?
Well, the impeachment is a very serious matter for the country. It basically says that they're talking about removing the top elected official in the country from office, and they're talking about some other politicians doing it. So it's a very serious matter.
But it's not simple, right? This is something where it would have to go through a whole lot more than just a couple of proceedings like this, right?
It's not at all simple. Actually, it's a two-step process. Where it is now is that the House is considering some articles regarding impeachment, whether it wants to go in impeachment. And that's the first phase in terms of essentially convicting the president, or it could be a federal judge. Some other federal officials are subject to impeachment. So that's sort of the conviction phase. Then to actually remove the president or whomever it is from office, the proceedings move over to the Senate, where the Senate decides whether the president or whomever will be actually removed from office.
Okay, so it's not going to be a quick thing. We're not going to get an answer to this overnight by any means. But so today was the second public hearings, right? We had the first on Wednesday. Now today, Ambassador Yovanovitch testified. Tell me a little bit about what you heard there today from her.
She talked about some very serious matters in terms of her experience in the Ukraine and what she knew of and didn't know of at the time. She talked about how the policy that she conducted in Ukraine, for the most part, seemed to be consistent with what the president was wanting. And then she talked a little bit about, after she had been recalled from her posting in the Ukraine, about some of the things that the president had said about her in terms of his concern about her job performance.
Right, exactly. You see her there on the screen if you haven't seen her before. That is former Ambassador Yovanovitch. So let's talk back. We just mentioned it a second ago. We had that transcript release, right? That infamous phone call with the Ukrainian president and Donald Trump. So tell me a little bit about what you think about those being released right as this started and what you saw in it.
Well, I think this, if we're going to do this, this needs to be a full public disclosure of information. Mm-hmm. So I think the House is perfectly justified in doing this inquiry. It's part of their oversight process. The question becomes whether you want to impeach an elected official for doing these sorts of things. But in the end, I mean, it's appropriate, and it's appropriate that the information is put out there.
Okay, real quick, I want to get your opinion on what you think this could do to next year's election. Obviously, we're running pretty close to 2020 now, so tell me what you think this has an impact on.
Well, that's a hard question in the sense that, at one hand, I think people interpret all this through their partisan perspective. So Democrats interpret it one way, Republicans interpret it another way. I think in the end, probably what's going to happen is people have more or less made up their mind. There may be some people in the middle who aren't strong party identifiers who may be swayed one way or the other. I'm not sure in the end it's going to have a huge effect unless President Trump decides to resign, for instance, before that happens.
Dr. Murray, appreciate you coming in. Thanks for your time.
Thank you for having me.
All right, Laura, back over to you.